I'm sure you saw that. Whew, wow. I really, of course, I would have thought having the actual realization that nothing is outwards and everything is inwards, the exact opposite of what we, of course, would assume things work. And that's the whole point of it. But anyway, without having realized that first, jeez Louise, man. Dude, like, y'all need to record this and listen. And this isn't paranoid because I wouldn't be aware that I'd need to preface by saying this isn't paranoid if it was paranoid. You guys know when I do those little rants like that, man, like you have to be an exceptional thinker to do that. And no, I'm not tooting my horn. I'm just trying to let you guys know I've worked hard for you, man. I did all this for you. I really did. I love you. But guys, holy man, this is actually kind of hard. Because once again, it's kind of like, how are we not aware of this, or how do we miss this? Because it's just so blatantly obvious. So anyway, I'm trying to think of where to start, man. Like this is, dude, this is bigger to me. I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of what's bigger. So anyway, all right, let's just start with this. I knew why I initially was saying like language can be a messy endeavor, or a messy enterprise, I think is how I said it. And yeah, it can be because it's not always, because we're not going to have the same vocabularies, you know what I mean? And your mind is your mind, my mind is my mind, okay? And I'm sorry because I've been oblivious to that. And that is what's caused many of you frustration, and it's caused me heartache and frustration because once again, I just knew I had more or less finished this, and no, I hadn't, because you're about to find out exactly. Geez Louise. So anyway, God, I forgot where I'm at. Sorry, this is just, and once again, like there's gonna be whoever those people are that we always think are like like whoever they quote unquote they are, like quote unquote they, yeah, man, they're gonna this isn't gonna want to get out. Okay, so like yeah, the language thing, and like I'm sorry for I said I was not good at this, like the whole unpacking the suitcase thing and needing to kind of go slow, but I was in a rush because I felt like I was supposed to be in a rush for whatever reason, and I'd never unpacked a suitcase, and I was by myself. Not only was I by myself, but some people were being very sweet. Thank you, I love you. Um, and some people, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just, I love you all regardless. But let's just say the reason I misinterpreted is like me being as the return of Jesus Christ. Just don't trip out on that statement. Just give me a minute, please. You've got to listen to me here, please, guys. Okay, so what actually happened to him is he became the embodiment of love. And yeah, even though like you have seen me become frustrated and stuff, just because once again this was so hard, and you're gonna know why in a minute. This was so hard, and I did spend 12,000 hours. And a lot of it was reading. And once you need to remember, like everybody else is doing their stuff, they're living their lives. Basically, all I've done is read books and then just think about stuff and work on thinking exercises for reasons that I didn't know why. And you're Malcolm McDowell, like this guy that's supposed to be like a genius that writes about geniuses. I just found out, like, yeah, he says you do something for more than 10,000 hours, you're an expert at it. I said I was going to become an expert on existence, and it just kind of happened. No, once again, I just didn't know what I was doing. But, and I was just hurt because, like, some of you guys were nice and some of you guys were really mean, but I should have known, like, because I was misinterpreting things and saying things like, I'm the return of Christ, when really I just should have said, I have become the embodiment of love, because that's what happened to him. He also became aware that yes, everything is in, there is nothing without. And that's essentially like a test for us because everything out is what, like, essentially what the Bible would call hell. And yeah, that is how it works. And dude, it's going to make a lot more sense in a minute. So anyway, like, yeah, he talked about like surrenderance to love. And because this is a mental existence, like, yeah, he talked his words might have been a little different. And I think that's why, maybe why I keep saying like, don't pay attention to little details. Well, that and reductionism has been a bane, but like, don't sweat those, just like focus on the concepts. So whatever the actual concept of surrenderance to love is, the same thing that, yes, like Christ talked about. Okay. Same thing with expansion of knowledge and the pursuit of divine truth. And to be honest with you, that was the Trinity. And this is why all of it was just completely wrecked. And we know it was. We know it was altered 6 times by dudes. And trust me, dudes usually have agendas. And yeah, as an embodiment of love, I'm talking to you like that. I'm trying to relate to you, man. Oh my goodness. So, geez Louise. All right. So if everyone's living their life, like if they have surrendered to love, and this is a mental world, right? They have surrendered to love. They are all about the expansion of knowledge, knowing themselves, knowing the world, and pursuing divine truth, man. You know, that means finding something greater than yourself, which in our case would literally be our higher selves. How are you going to exploit that, man? How are you going to manipulate it? How are you going to bend it to your will? There's only one possible way to do so. You start changing information. You start messing with it. You start making people think that maybe the outside's the real thing. Besides, what can you do with thoughts and ideas? You can't hold them. You know what I mean? You can't look fly in an idea. Sorry. So what are you going to do with that? You keep messing with that information till all there is information about that out there. Except some philosophers who, once again, philosophy is actually how you tap into this. When you have a heart full of love, man, and like you're just earnest about knowledge and stuff, and some of those philosophers really were, like Berkeley and those guys, if they only would have known, if he would have known what he was doing, he's right there. His only disconnect was he thought he was smart enough to be having those thoughts and feelings and not actually tapping into his higher self. Now, Berkeley, somebody like that, is so much smarter than me, it's ridiculous. But man, once again, you spend thousands and thousands of hours working on something, spending time in the minds of these people. Yeah, man, you're going to learn to think really, really well. And a lot of you could do it if you just sat down and did it. And you're probably going to want to, but so anyway, that's literally where we're at. You know what I mean? Like, this is all of this, like whoever this group of people are, man, they have this information. Like, they are fully aware of it. And if you can get people distracted and preoccupied with a bunch of stuff that's not even there, and you can make them think that this paper stuff can buy stuff and more stuff that's not really there, it doesn't matter. But guess what? You are the only ones that have the information. So how the hell is anybody else going to find out about it? Maybe somebody just sits down out of the blue because he really loves people and because something keeps telling him to do so. And he just keeps reading the right books somehow or another. And so he really learns to think. And once he really learns to think, he starts attacking all of our most modern information, all of our biology, all of our physics, our mathematics. He's just going after it. He's using reason and he's using language to do it. Because while he was in the minds of those geniuses, and while he was realizing that something really special was going on, he learned that reason and language and some of those things, they are not words and they are bigger than concepts. They became things to him and they became sacred, and he prayed to them. And I'm sure that has something to do with why all this happened. And that is the very reason this world is the way it is. And yeah, I've just been unpacking the suitcase, and it's there for you like that. And since analogies seem to kind of do their thing, or at least I thought they could do their thing, they have the potential to do their thing. But some of you guys, not all of you, but some of you you don't want it to happen, more or less. So anyway, we can all say we're individuals and we're all having an individual experience. A bunch of you always agreed with that. Awesome. So how do you explain, or how do you qualify, or how do you communicate or articulate or elucidate your experience? Through words, right? And words express thoughts and ideas, correct? Awesome. So let's say your experience was you had just gone running. Or let's say your experience was you had just gone to the beach. Now, can you touch going to the beach? Okay. You could touch the sand that isn't there, the water that isn't there, that your mind makes real to you. And that's literally what all that activity that neuroscientists play with, that they're trying to find out where consciousness is going to emerge from. Well, they're never going to find it like that, because consciousness doesn't belong within our interface. And all they're doing is playing with information in an interface that's even occurring because our consciousness is experiencing all this crap. And I don't mean to say crap, it's awesome. It's our creation. So that's why we have all those computations going on every millisecond or however fast it occurs. And that's literally why all that electrical, all that biochemical, all that stuff is literally going on as we're creating our realities. Now, I bet if they look at it like that, they might get somewhere. And I'm not being cocky. I love you. I am you. I did this for you. It about killed me. And even when I thought, I'm sorry, once again, existence only had me to work with, okay? And I'm an excitable guy. I said that like maybe a few days ago. Well, yeah, like I am, man. I'm passionate. I'm intense. And like, I used to be like really aggressive, but now I'm just kind of sweet. But I'm also very like playful and cheerful and can be giddy, except I just don't let people see it for the most part. But yeah, that's how I am. And I think that's cute, and I think it's sweet, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And I think everybody should have a little bit of that in their lives, because it's like wholesome and it's good. Like it's really clean and pure. But anyway, man, like, dude, you wonder how there's two companies. And the low end, they're speculated at having 15 trillion. On the high end, they're speculated at 20 trillion. But bottom line, we know that they have enough money that they could buy every single company on the London Stock Exchange and do so 3 times over, man. Are you kidding me? And nobody hardly knows about them. Oh, and it's Vanguard and BlackRock, by the way. Like it's kind of weird that check it out for yourselves real quick. Like if you Google richest corporations in the world, you're not going to see Vanguard and BlackRock. But if you Google BlackRock and Vanguard, or, flip them around as corporations or wealth or whatever, you'll find out about them. I'm sure that there was some sort of, not necessarily a lawsuit, but some sort of plaintiff. I'm not a lawyer. I know all that stuff works. I just don't use that vocabulary. So anyway, let's say some sort of official paperwork was served through the administration of a court officer or something to that extent. I told you I know how it works. Okay. But anyway, so I'm assuming that it would have only have said, you can't list us through these specific searches. And it probably had richest corporation, but it probably didn't say if you actually use their names, because nobody knows who the F they are. And they thought they were probably covering up who the F they are, but they only kind of half-assed it, so to speak. Pardon the language. But But yeah, I guess that's it for now. But yeah, man, like, so, and that's probably too why I was saying, like, I was given the word of God and stuff like that. Like, yeah, the surrenderance of love and all that's literally the Trinity: surrenderance of love, divine truth, and or the pursuit of divine truth and expansion of knowledge. Like, that's exactly what it is. This is a mental world. And Jesus Christ himself had become the embodiment of love. And he became aware of all these things. And he went on ministries to talk about. Oh, and that's probably what got him killed. Gee, oh my God. Oh, shit. Um, and I'm sure that's what got him killed. Um, anyway, I love you guys. I was This was really hard, and I'm sorry. I thought I was done before I was done, and I'm sorry I slightly misinterpreted some of this stuff, and it made what are already pretty outlandish claims a lot more outlandish and a lot more hard to accept. And then I got frustrated because you couldn't accept, and that I'm sorry. Like I said, this was just so hard, and I just knew, like, we should have been like rejoicing and having fun, like just loving one another. And and then and really only a few of you were kind of ugly to me, I guess. And it was, I shouldn't have allowed it to be what it was. But once again, I was just dude, I was just loving, man. I just had so much love in me. And then to be spoken to like that, like, I thought it was just so ugly. And I never talked ugly back or anything like that. Like, I'll never do that. But I still, like, I mean, it's my mind. Like, I'm the one who allows things to happen. And typically, like, I'm all over that, or at least as of late. But I guess just because I had maybe such high expectations, um, I was just disappointed, man. And even though it hurt, like, dude, it doesn't matter. I love you guys, dude. Like, I love you a lot. You are me. Like, we're just at different places on our paths. We all have individual paths, but it's still all us. Like, it's one of us. Like, that's another reason why I shouldn't have been frustrated and things. Like, y'all are just me, man, at different points on your path. And it's vice versa. And it's like that with everybody. And that's why you can't be ugly to each other, man. You're literally being ugly to yourself. Or if you hurt that plant, or if you hurt that flower, or if you hurt that animal, you're hurting yourself. Like, literally. And just, it's not good. And like, that's why you gotta take care of nature. That's your nature. It's yours. That's your creation. And when you go outside, man, it's yours. And I think that's our miracle, and it's something we have to cherish. And guys, we can get started on this right now, because I don't know how long, maybe, I don't know how long I'll be here. And I just, we should get started while we can. I love you guys.